What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody's doing well. Gonna get to what I'm doing real quick. The big question, obviously, is whether or not we can play the Toronto game. It's a shaky game on a 13-game slate. If it stays shaky, I'm just going to avoid it, probably. Maybe throw it into one lineup because I do like the Toronto stack quite a bit. But the way it stands right now, I've got Houston ranked number 1, followed by Texas, Arizona, Colorado, and then some pieces of the both Seattle and Seattle and Kansas City. Sheets, how's it going, man?
Good. What's happening?
We're just going through what we're going to do tonight. I was just getting into my stacks. I said I had Houston. I'm just probably discounting Toronto. I might throw them into just one lineup because I like the stack a lot, but the weather is a little too ugly for me to feel comfortable just to go ahead and play it on a 13-game slate, which should also increase the ownership in the Texas-Colorado game. And I am personally going to be rating Houston 1, followed by Texas, followed by Arizona, followed by Colorado. Then I get into the KC, Seattle, pieces of Miami, pieces of San Francisco kind of thing. What are you looking at?
I have no idea yet. So this is where I am. So I just updated the projections and I put them onto the site. So I took care of our people first.
Appreciate that.
So now I'm going to take a look at this and then I'm going to do some builds. The only thing that I know for sure is what I promised, and that is that I'm going to be playing 30% of Seattle. Okay. The other thing that I think I'm going to promise is that I'm not going to promise it yet. I'm almost sure I'm not going to play any of the Toronto-Boston game. But one thing I would do, by the way, if I do play that game, I think I would play both sides of it. Like I'll either play it to play or not to play, and I think that if I play it to play, I think I'm going to double stack that game if I play it at all.
Okay.
That's what I think I'm going to, because I do like a little bit of Boston there as well. So
yeah,
it makes a little sense, I think, to do it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Considering how high risk it is. I'm just looking at the pitching projections right now, and I just want to make sure nothing's really changed. No, I still have, it's very similar, except I have Verlander and Rodon. Just like, you know what, I was going to say like a lot ahead of C's, but they're owned twice as much too, you know. So I think it's pretty efficient. So I don't know what I want to do. I want to see where my builds take me first. Let's talk about any good pivot pitchers here. I mean, like Fried 15%. That's not too exciting. I have Pablo Lopez only 11%.
I like Pablo Lopez.
Would you say?
I do like Lopez for what it's worth.
Okay, so that's something I can do. And I'm only seeing 10% of the Kluber. That's where I thought. But I thought Kluber and Lopez. Actually, I did think they'd be similar, and they are similar. I have Lopez rated just a little bit higher. Ranger Suarez, I have him as playable, and then that's pretty much it. I didn't get down to any of the other guys. I didn't get to the Luck Boom or whatever his name was, the Ladoom. I didn't get down to Burns. So before I get into stats, so what did you say about your pitching?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, you're about to get that. Okay, good. So
you're not winning the slate. You're not winning the slate with pitching. It just doesn't happen. Like there's just too many guys who are going to score similar numbers unless one guy breaks out, and the most likely ones are going to be the most popular, I think. It's pretty simple for me. Ray, Rodon, C's, then Verlander, Pablo Lopez, and Corey Kluber at the low end. Gonsolin has a large field if everybody else busts, kind of a thing. But I don't really.
However, yeah, but let's talk about that a little more. So if you play guys or whatever, you take a look at your lineups, and you need a little more, non-chalk, and you have Robbie Ray, you could just totally swap him out for Gonsolin.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, to answer the question, the most extreme hitters umpire is in the Mets-Yankees game. The most extreme pitchers umpire in baseball is in the Colorado game.
Who, the Bill Miller?
Yeah.
See, I'm not bad. I listened.
Yeah, and Goldie's sort of blown away by the Lopez and Gonsolin thing. Let me just say something about these things that people happen. When you look at numbers too much, or not too much, when you base everything off numbers, you're going to miss a lot of things. Pablo Lopez is a really good real life pitcher who has had some really tough matchups and has struggled mightily a few times. Sort of goes along with it. Also, whatever, 4 starts back, put up 38 fantasy points. There's nobody else in this price range that can do that. Pablo Lopez is a guy we were paying 9,600 for comfortably, and he's got the second best matchup in baseball, the third best matchup in all of baseball tonight. So I don't see that as being a bad play. I also have no interest in the Mets whatsoever. I understand if Walker's been bad, but if you're going to pick out of 26 teams, you're going to try. I'm sorry, I understand that Montas has been bad and go against one of the best 6 or 7 pitchers on the slate. I just don't think you're doing it right. I know that he hasn't been there lately, but baseball, you have streaks in these things, and I don't think that Montas is necessarily totally broken. If it was a tiny slate, I'd be willing to entertain the idea of stacking against him. I have no interest in doing that. I actually think Montas makes more sense as a pitching option than anything on the Mets does as a hitting option. One-offs, sure, but stacking the Mets, no, not for me. I just don't do that on these slates. Not to mention, I don't do it against guys. Although he's been bad lately, with his control has been off this year. So maybe we could just say he's not good anymore. You can go ahead with that narrative. But is he the worst pitcher on the slate? Even when he's bad, he's still not even close to the worst pitcher out here. You do have Yankee Stadium and the stuff behind him, so I'm not doing him. I have no interest in Burns versus the Dodgers. I think that's a kind of a suckery play for anybody who does it. If it works, cool. The odds of a guy who just couldn't get through 6 innings against this team when he was dominating because he goes too deep into counts against a team that's this patient. It's going to be really hard for him. Not to mention, what are they? They're hitting 320 off a team against him, and I think his 6 starts against the Dodgers. His case strikeout rate is 26%, which is fine, but to pay that price for him in the toughest matchup, it's just such a cutesy play. I'm not into cutesy plays. Burns is good. It's just sure, could he get there some of these times? Sure, I would rather play Gonsolin in a better matchup than Burns by a long shot than I would play Burns, but totally, look, again, these guys are all viable. He's where he is for a reason. He's a great pitcher. Could he dominate the Dodgers? Sure, but we're just sort of trying to find cutesy things to do, and I don't want to try and find cutesy things to do at pitcher too much. The only one I have in any lineup is Gonsolin, and even that feels extremely thin, considering the rest of the slate. At the same time, we had the same thing happen this slate that happened last time, and Gonsolin was the highest scoring pitcher on the slate. So again, in the same matchup. The weather in Boston, to answer Tony's question, does not look good. It's up in the air, and that's not enough for me to take a shot on a game on this big of a slate. If we get the full go-ahead that it's totally fine, I would absolutely be stacking up Toronto. But there is definitely, anytime there's a postponed possibility that's above double digits and there's 13 games in the slate, unless I like the stack so much better or it's Coors and people aren't going to play it or something, I'm just not going to do it. But the other pitcher who I probably should get exposure to, and that's what I'm probably going to do with my Gonsolin, is play Fried. Just on, look, it's fine. I don't love that. Again, these are not priority plays for me. The priorities are Ray, Cease, Rodon, and then followed by Verlander, and then there's the Lopez, Kluber if you want to spend down and play one of the big stacks. That's where I am.
Well, you know what I like to do for the fans? I want to build my and for the SaberSim people, I want to build my FanDuel lineups, my SaberSim FanDuel lineups. So in the $7, I'm going to play 20 lineups. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen here. Let's share my screen. Okay. And I'm just going to show everybody how I do this. So I'm not doing it through the TrueDFS interface, but it's the same idea. All right, so I'm going to upload this stuff right here, and it's going to replace the SaberSim projections with ours, and it's pretty similar actually. There's no real big outliers today. That's one thing I look at. And let's just build a lineup. So we're going to build 20 lineups. We're going to set it for 20 max, but just to be fancy, I'll go to manual mode and make one tweak. So as I mentioned before, FanDuel, when you put too much correlation here, it'll give you all kinds of real pretty looking 4x4s with like 1,500 left on the table. And I don't think I want to do that. So I'm gonna just scale back the correlation slider just a little bit, and then we're just gonna hit build. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take a look and make sure it doesn't completely offend my senses. And if it really offends my senses, I'll probably put it in anyway. That's kind of the way baseball works. I'm playing the big one on FanDuel also, and this could be a mistake, but it opens up so much for me that I'm going to do it anyway. I'm playing Lopez on FanDuel also. It's asking for it. I know.
I don't think it's that bad of a play.
You don't think so? Okay.
I think there is enough upside there. I really do. Things have to go right, but yeah, I mean that's what you need anyway.
So interestingly, in my Saberson build, I'd be getting makes sense almost all Robbie Ray and a little bit of Rodon, and then with stacks, I'd be getting that 55% Arizona. That's the team that you identified a little earlier, but you thought it'd be too expensive on DraftKings. I guess on FanDuel they're a little easier.
Wait, which one was it? Arizona? I do like Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm okay with KC on the other side of that game as well. It was also cheap on FanDuel, especially.
That's it. I like Kansas City a lot in my big one actually on FanDuel.
And to answer the Atlanta questions, I'm fine with Atlanta. Like I say, I always think Brubaker's a little better of a pitcher. One of the worst stadium downgrades in baseball is Atlanta to Pittsburgh. So I am definitely not as into Atlanta as maybe some other people out there are, but of course there's never anything wrong with stacking Atlanta in even an average matchup. So I have no problem with it. You got multiple guys who are probably going to be double-digit owned on Atlanta, especially on DraftKings. And I would rather spend my money elsewhere, but I certainly could Atlanta score 15 runs. They're always in play. They're always, they always make sense. There's a bunch of teams you can always stack in any matchup, and Atlanta's certainly one of them.
And you notice the other thing, if anybody knows, the other thing that I did was I X'd out the rain game, so I didn't get any of that. Okay, so I will now unshare the screen here. Okay. Now I'm going to start building on DraftKings and let you know what I have, and then I'll see what I want to play. I know what I'm going to end up with double pay-ups. I think that's what's going to end up happening. Let's just see.
Guys, pop on in any thoughts or questions. What does that mean, that Eric Johnson's question, 10-0-0 build sheets? What does that mean?
10-0-0? Is that like a stack size or something? What is that? 10-0-0? Oh, right. No, I know what you mean. That's like a Saberson thing, I think. To put all the correlation and then no ownership fade and no no smart diversity. No, that's fine. All right. Okay. Let me take a look and see what I'd be getting. Yeah, I know when you move up the slider up to 10. That's like the League of Legends build. I chopped by the way. I chopped the bigger buy in LOL slate today with a couple other people. Give me a little bit of a cushion into baseball. We'll see. Let's see. And just so you guys know, I'm away for this weekend, and there's no MMA this weekend. This is like 1 week off from MMA. Let me just see what's going on in the tennis here. Sam. Price. Rain. Okay, that's good. Okay. You're getting some Marlin stacks, Eric? Oh, if you move the slide up to 10? Yeah, I'm really not getting any of that. I'm getting As a matter of fact, I'm getting very little Miami. You know what I'm getting a lot of, Eric? I'm getting a lot of Texas. That's actually, you want to know the truth. That's actually what I'm getting. Oh, and here's another one which I don't want to play. Um, Bobby and I talked about this. Is I'm getting like 25% Chicago White Sox. That's just not happening. I just don't think I'm doing that. Maybe a little bit though. So let's cross out Toronto, see if that helps us. Oh, I totally forgot. First thing I have to do is I got to put in 30% Seattle, being on brand. Yeah, the thing is, I don't think I want to play that game at all, Eric. That's the problem. I mean, listen. I'm not telling you what how your risk tolerance should be, but I really don't like playing the orange games, especially on a 15-game slate. I definitely think that both Boston and Toronto are great plays on both sites, but
Yeah, I don't think Boston's a great play for what it's worth.
Oh, you don't? Okay, okay.
No, I mean Stripling is a good pitcher. There's not. We're just picking apart things for no reason, in my opinion. There, but doesn't mean they couldn't do it. Their lineup has been certainly streaky, to say the least. But I just think that with this slate, they would rank about 12th for me on stats, maybe a little worse. Just had to disagree with you one time because we're two on the same page with some of these things.
Yeah. So Jeff's saying 2-man stacks, keep them 3-4, 4-5, or 2-5 is okay. So I don't know if Bob and I are different on this. We're not. We're actually not different on this.
No, especially on this slate.
I don't think it matters. I mean, it's better to have a 3-4 or 4-5. I mean, but I wouldn't go too crazy with it.
I can't tell what the question is. Whether it's that spot in the order. Are you saying
yeah, that spot in the order.
Oh, it means that just is meaningless, except for you get more ownership spread out if you have gaps. I mean, you get more of an unusual build if you have gaps, which is usually something you'd want to worry about more on smaller slates than big slates.
Oh, and here's another one I want to force in a little bit. We forgot about again. Is San Francisco again? Forgot about.
If Roth thinks Boston plays, you guys can go ahead and play it. Unless I get that it's got less than a 10% chance of being postponed. Because as much as I like Toronto, I don't like them that much better than I like Houston.
So I brought this team up. I was just in passing. What did you think of San Francisco?
Yeah, I think that they've been awful, but I think it's worth taking a shot. I like them more as pieces. I do have one 4-man San Francisco stack on DraftKings in transparency, so obviously I like them enough. But overall, they're not somebody I'm going out of my way to try to get. I think that playing a Peterson Wade, and they're also going to if the lefty comes in, all these guys are replaced. If it's early enough in the game, even if it's early in the game. So, Crawford, LaStella, Peterson, Wade. Peterson's the only one that's not a value option. Those would be the 4 I would prefer. Brandon Belt has not hit in about 3 months, so he's batting 8th now. So it's made me a lot less interested. I do like the Seattle stack to answer that question.
Say that again.
Yes, Relax asked about the Seattle stack. We both like that one.
Yeah, it's definitely not a very quantitative. You know what I mean? Like, I can certainly make a case why it's terrible. I mean, like they're all righties against a righty who doesn't really give up a lot of home runs. But I still like it. I don't know what to tell you. So it's going to be some San Francisco, the offbeat ones. San Francisco and Seattle, I guess, are the offbeat ones. And then Houston, I don't think is going to be particularly off the board. But I'm doing that. And I mean, I have to play some Texas. I think. I don't want to be too stubborn.
Eric's talking out of both sides now. Now he wants Brubaker. He liked Atlanta before, and now he's got Brubaker. No, I don't have interest in Brubaker, but it wouldn't shock me if he had a decent game. But I'm not going to play Brubaker in a tough matchup. I do like him a little bit as a pitcher, but I would rather just pay 500 more to play either Kluber or play 900 more to play Lopez. I tend to reserve my Brubaker interests for good matchups. And while there are strikeouts in the Atlanta lineup, I don't know if I feel good enough to want to just go ahead and roll them out there on a 13-game slate.
Brubaker's a pretty good movie, though.
That's true.
Okay, so now, what do I have? Now, oh my God, all the San Francisco, Texas, Seattle, Houston, tiny little sliver of the Mets, little bit of Colorado. I don't need Boston. Okay, get rid of that. This looks pretty good, actually. Houston. Let's give them to San Francisco, Texas, Houston, Seattle. Getting there. Getting a build here. Houston, Seattle, San Francisco, then Texas, then some slivers. As far as 5-man goes, man, I hate when they just love Texas like this. And I guess they're the best play, right? I mean, yeah, Eric, I'm glad you asked me that because it's an enormous leak, the fact that I don't late swap more than I should. You should really treat this as much like the NBA as possible. You know, like when you're in those late games and you could swap out to get yourself some extra juice. I would definitely do it, and it's a big. I think it's it's not a huge leak, but I think it's a big enough leak where I'm a little annoyed by it. So Texas. You playing 5-mans of these teams like Houston, Bobby?
Yep.
Yeah. Houston, Texas. So let's put this. Get away with this. That's good. So 20% Seattle there, Houston there. Houston's 36.53. So it looks like Houston will be my most owned. I think that makes sense. As far as as far as pitching, how many homers has Judge hit today? That is a very good question because
Judge is a great win off today.
He's obviously hitting some. I wonder how much Ray I really want to have. I mean, it's not a bad. I mean, yeah, I don't need any Austin. I don't need any Austin Roth.
I may have to run in a minute because I do kind of want to hear the weather report, and just because I do want to see if I'm going to get to any of the stuff. Unfortunately, since I was here first, that means I'll have to leave the stream on, mute this, and turn on another computer or something.
Go ahead, leave it on.
You could just undo your toggle.
Yeah, but then I can't hear the other thing because I'm listening on the same screen. I only have one little 13-inch laptop here.
No, I could turn the Well, I have the one that says end stream, I think.
No, I've got it.
But I have it too.
I know we've tried it before though. It's all right. It's no big deal. I'm not terribly worried. I don't have as many lines as I sometimes play, so I can kind of figure it out. But yeah, it's I am a little worried on FanDuel about not having enough Texas, but I don't have hardly any. Schwarber's price, by the way, over there, even a lefty is kind of crazy at 3,200. So that's one thing I wanted to throw out about FanDuel. And I'm going to be playing a ton of the Arizona pieces and KC pieces more than I am the full stacks there.
You have more Rodon or Ray?
More Ray, but no, I have more Rodon overall.
Okay.
Sheets, is Lopez a priority for you? I don't know if he's a priority, but you're definitely using him some, right?
Well, he's a priority in that I'm using my big buy-in. How about that?
Yeah. Well, there you go. All right, everybody. Well, I'm going to say good luck, and I hope everybody crushes it tonight. I'll be in Discord.
Wait, so is the stream going to get poofed? Is that what's going to happen?
No. I'm just going to mute myself.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, cool.
All right. Good luck, everybody. Good luck, Sheets.
Thanks. Oh, I know. That's right. I'm playing this. I forgot. I'm playing this. This 111. I forgot about that. Playing like 3 of those. And then we could do. This. Yeah, I'm a little bit more spread out than I thought I was going to be. Actually, that's not true. I knew I was going to get more of these pitchers. But I'll tell you, I was getting like a whole bunch of Robbie Ray. I mean, they wanted me to play 90% of them, which I'm just not doing that. Rodon, Ray. There's Haniger. Got the Haniger stuff. Haniger, Winker. That makes sense. Some Ty France. All those look pretty good. My big buy-ins over there. I do have Robbie Ray in the big ones, and just too much Texas though. I gotta put some more Houston in here. Well, I do think Houston's a good play here. Yeah, I'm still on here, Eric. Sorry, if you didn't notice. Yeah, I didn't know about. I don't know if I can get to Lodolo. Tucker. Oh, this is like a good bot. This is like a good lineup. Yeah, I'm double paying up for pitching. Probably more than I thought I was going to. Winker, Julio. Okay, we're gonna upload these. And I'm gonna put up, even though it's only 29 golfers on the board, I'm gonna probably put up. I'll do the golf. Yeah, I don't know, Eric. Houston, I think Texas has to be. I don't know how chalky Houston's going to be. Let me take a look. I mean, they're their own, but not that much. I have them less than Atlanta, less than Toronto, Boston if they play, certainly less than Texas. Well, I guess we'll find out. Yeah, well, we'll see. My top owned catcher is Martin Maldonado.
because Houston is my top owned stack. Right? Other guys I have the catcher. I have the Giants dude. I got the 2K catcher for the Giants, the wins. Not expecting too much. And then on FanDuel, I do have I'm doing double catcher with the two Kansas City guys. I wonder what any news is on the I just said that, Antonio. Yeah, I like them a lot, especially on FanDuel. Yes, this is the one thing. I do have to wait on this Toronto. That's okay. I do have to wait on this Toronto Boston thing to ice just a little bit. That is something I might do. I might just redo these with using Toronto and Boston. Yeah, I like that, Antonio. And Eric, I think that's true too. I think it is probably a late swap day. Gonsolin, look at that, huh? Okay, that's definitely off the board. Not to talk you off it, right? All right, I guess I'm going to get going. Food awaits me. Good luck, everybody, and